ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on today's episode, we have new castings in the news, 3 trailers in trailer talk, and the new to streaming list this week, of course, is the first week of the month, and it's an absolute banger of a list for first week of the month. It's probably one of the better lists that we've had in a long, long time. We'll get to what we're watching, of course, and then our main review for the episode, Antlers. But before we get to any of that, I'm joined today, of course, by November Nathaniel Gingrich.
What up? I'm November Nathaniel. I'm the last thing you see before you die.
That's only in the month of November, though.
Yes, yeah. It's my new character.
Yeah,
me and the Grim Reaper go around. You know, he gets a little tired this time of year, and he outsources some work to me.
Well, you know, he's got a family too,
right?
So like, you know, he gets to spend time with his family. We've got holidays coming up and stuff like that.
I'm the chill one. I'm like, hey, yo, guys, time to go. It's grab your things, and we're gonna get out of here. All right, peace.
What's your favorite November activity? Or part of November?
Ooh, Thanksgiving, man.
I was gonna say, is there anything else besides Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I was like, you almost have to say that. You're like psycho.
Yeah, I don't know, raking leaves. No, definitely Thanksgiving. I would say Thanksgiving is not one of my top holidays, but you know, it's good. It's cool. I'm in on it.
Is Thanksgiving overrated or underrated?
It's overrated in my opinion, but
yeah, I would agree.
It's just not my.
Most holidays are overrated, but I guess it just kind of depends on.
It's also not like my food preference. Like if I had a choice of food to like gorge myself on, it would never be turkey
stuffing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a fair point. I'm also joined today by traumatized Tyler Vidalis.
What's up? I'm traumatized.
Who traumatized you? Was it November Nathaniel? Did he come after you?
No, it was Santa Claus.
Oh, okay.
Also terrifying.
Did you guys have a big fear as a kid? Like things only kids are afraid of? Because I know my one brother was scared of Elmo when he was younger.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine has to be spiders, which I guess some people are still afraid of spiders as an adult. I was fucking terrified of spiders. Like, I had to have a phobia. I never got diagnosed for it, but like I couldn't like touch pictures of spiders on a computer.
Oh, really?
You know how like people would like as a child you'd like put spiders like in a water bottle or something and like hold a water bottle. I couldn't even do that. I couldn't hold the water bottle. I was like terrified, dude.
I didn't like spiders either when I was a kid, but then I think somewhere in like high school, my buddy had a tarantula. And we were at his place, and I was like, yo, let me hold that thing. And I was pretty much like, all right, cool. Spiders are cool. We're cool.
Spiders are fine until they're big.
I think that's the only way to get over it. Go ahead, Dan, with that.
I said spiders are fine until they're big enough to hear. That's when they cross into the.
Dude, that just makes me so unsettled when you said that you can hear a spider move.
You're like that's
like terrifying.
As long as you can't hear them, they're fine. But as soon as they have enough weight that you can hear them, that's when they go immediately into like,
dude.
This is
unfortunate. So uneasy talking about that.
That makes me a little uncomfortable. Not gonna lie.
Oh man,
it's true though.
Have you ever seen a spider that big?
Yeah. That's why I know.
Really? I guess in Arizona, right?
No, that was actually down.
It was like in your apartment because I was.
It was actually this couch right here.
It was earlier. It was earlier today.
No, I was in. That was when I was in Spring Valley. I was at we had a storage unit, and the storage unit butted up against a cornfield, and I was moving some stuff around in the storage unit, and I just heard behind me the. And it was coming out of the cornfield and into the storage unit, and that's when I killed it with a shovel.
You know what kind of spider it was?
Big.
Yeah, I got you. That's the breed. Fucking huge.
I don't fucking know. I don't try and kill spiders if I can avoid it, but there's something about, like I said, if I can hear it coming, now it's a threat at that point.
I've never even really considered a spider so big I can hear it. I don't know if I've ever really
that's honestly terrifying. And to Nathaniel's point in terms of killing, I'm like, I never tried. I didn't kill. Fun fact on me, I didn't kill my first spider till I was in college.
Oh shit!
Like my roommates were like, dude, like I'm not fucking killing that. Like it was like unrealistic. You know what I mean? It was like, why would I ever do that for you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I had to man up and kill my own spider, man, and that was a life achieving goal back in my day.
I'm proud of you, man.
Yeah, that took a lot of balls, man. I was honestly like petrified.
I still don't like doing it. Anytime I see a spider, I have to deal with it. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
I can't do it. Don't want to do it at all.
I just let it live, man.
Yeah. The arachnophobe over there, of course, is Big Small Town. BlakeHolder.
What's up?
Raining from the small town. I guess
yeah.
You're probably not from a small town, but it fits the movie, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, Streamwood is a suburb, you know?
Yeah.
So very similar to like a Rolling Meadows or anything of that nature. All right, so. But we'll make it fit the movie.
Are there a lot of big spiders in that big small town?
Thankfully, no. Thankfully, no. I don't know if I would have made it to this age. But
at least
here
that's
we
what
are,
you
and
think.
I'm now able to kill spiders, so.
There you go. And you're also able to talk about the movie news. Welcome, listeners, to the news segment here at Back Row Banter this week. We got 2 casting / 1 announcement for new movies. The first one on the list here, Chris Pratt to voice Garfield in new animated feature. This, of course, is just the second film announcement in about 3 weeks of Chris Pratt's voice acting. So good for him.
Okay.
Did anybody ask for that? I know we always say that. But
that is my exact reaction, Blake. Who is this for? Who is going to see this? Does anyone give a shit about Garfield?
No.
Can anybody hear me?
But I'm sure some kids do. I mean,
do they? When was the last time you saw anything to do with Garfield?
Yeah. Now there was a Garfield movie. Was it back when we were kids? Maybe it's like
the first one was 2004. The second one is 2006.
Okay, I was like, yeah, that sounds right. But I definitely remember seeing.
Other than that, it's a cartoon in a newspaper, which I'm sorry, no child under the age of 6 has ever seen.
Right. It's like a Calvin and Hobbes type thing.
Yeah. Or the Peanuts.
That is a good point. I mean, I don't know how many kids nowadays know Garfield, but again, I think this is kind of going back to something we talked about a few weeks ago, but more introducing them to a new generation, maybe this character at least, or maybe they've heard of Garfield, just don't really know about it. And this is a way to kind of pass it on.
Yeah, true.
They got to stay. These kind of characters have to stay alive in some ways.
Right. Definitely kind of carrying the torch. And you got to put in perspective. I mean, I think they just released like a Clifford movie as well, right? Or aren't they in the process of doing something like that?
They did, actually.
Yeah.
We didn't review it for obvious reasons, but but I believe they did. This is going to be written by Oscar nominee David Reynolds, who wrote Finding Nemo, and then directed by Mark Dindal, who did Chicken Little. So
that makes it sound more promising.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'll tell you that. Yeah.
A little bit. But still not one I'm like clamoring for.
Yeah, no, I don't care.
Do you guys like Chris Pratt as Garfield? Do you think he'll do it justice?
I think he's goofy enough and can find that rhythm for himself in that. I mean, he was in Parks and Rec before he really got famous for anything, and he was pretty much a pretty big cornerstone of the comic relief in those episodes that he was in. So I have no doubt in my mind that he can find that funny bone.
Yeah. Yeah. The question is, do you think Ryan Reynolds would do a better job as Garfield?
Yes.
100%. He's got Pikachu, you know. Let him have that. We'll let Chris Pratt have Garfield.
Fair.
I picture Garfield as like a worn out, like 45-year-old man though. Like, do you think
Commissioner Gordon from Harley Quinn?
Yeah. Do you think Chris Pratt's like too young and boisterous to be a Garfield who hates Mondays and only wants lasagna?
Well, maybe this is like year 2 Garfield, you know? He's very young in his career.
Uh-huh.
The origin story of Garfield, how he fell in love with lasagna.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, well, we'll have to stay tuned for that. Can't promise a review on that one. Might just kind of fly right over our review sheet there.
That news made me finish my beer.
There's a good chance we'll review this next one we're talking about because Matt Damon and Robert Downey Jr. have both joined Christopher Nolan's next film, Oppenheimer, which we talked about a few weeks ago as his new project announcement. But it is about the famous physicist, which I guess you would call him, Robert Oppenheimer, who is one of the head people around the founding of the atomic bomb and the Manhattan Project. So now this has RDJ, Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, and Cillian Murphy all attached.
For heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is what you expect, though. You know what I mean? A Nolan film. You know it's going to come like that. And it'll be a good film. Has he
worked with any of them before? Because I was trying to think of that.
Cillian Murphy's in Dunkirk, right?
Yes, okay. So Cillian Murphy's
in a lot of his stuff. Damon's in Interstellar.
Yeah. Oh, and he's in one of the Batmans, which I don't know which one it is.
Oh, he's in the Batman
He's
Begins.
Scarecrow. He's in all 3.
Oh, okay. Sure.
True. I haven't seen those movies long enough to remember that, but yeah, no, he definitely is.
Yeah, he's in there. I don't know about Emily Blunt. Do any of you
Matt Damon, in Interstellar. I don't think RDJ.
Oh, he is.
And Emily Blunt, I'm hard pressed to think of the time they're a space that she's shown.
Yeah, Emily Blunt, I think will only be in like The Prestige, maybe as like a background actress or something like that. But no, I don't believe so. And nothing on RDJ, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But regardless, this is an awesome cast so far.
Yeah, man.
And it seems like they're all. It's not confirmed on who RDJ and Damon are going to be playing, but regardless of who they are, I think this is already a solid cast with a solid director, and it's being set up to be on par with, I think, maybe Dunkirk or some of other Nolan's bigger movies. At least from the outset, I don't think it'll be as bad as Tenet, but I guess that's TBD.
Yeah, I'm still going to bat on that thing, man. I can't let you guys continue to slander it.
I think it's really just me. I don't think Nathaniel or Ty hate it as much as I do, and I don't really hate it. I
kind of stopped caring about it.
Yeah.
That's more.
I'll have to go do a rewatch that I said I would do almost like a year ago.
Right.
I guess it was over.
So that says enough. Yeah, man. That was like September.
That was September 2020.
Yeah.
What episode was that? That was an early one. Well, anyway, we have 3 trailers to talk about this week. We're going to kick it off here with the Book of Boba Fett, the new Disney Plus original series, I guess you could say. The spinoff from The Mandalorian / just Star Wars in general, depending on how you're looking at it. Blake, did you even watch this trailer?
Did.
Okay.
As I always do, just to
say you have.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be honest, just like so I can like check it off.
But
honestly,
think is?
I don't know.
What do you think is going on in this trailer? I want to just what was your interpretation of events?
Bringing back our old game of what happened in Star Wars this week?
The Star Wars segment. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think so. How I already know Star Wars. I mean, there's some type of politics involved, right? Or there's going to be some people who maybe have some sort of power and they're not really in agreement with something else. Mm-hmm. And are we kind of seeing that those people that, I don't know what kind of species they are, but are they kind of like the lower class society?
I wouldn't necessarily say that.
Okay.
It's not necessarily about class.
Yeah, they're definitely on one of the poorer planets, but they're also
Yes.
on like
Right.
the outskirts, like of the edges of how far the Empire used to reach and everything too. So they were always kind of on like the edges, kind of stuff.
Sure.
I would say, but yeah, I don't know. Let's not torture Blake too much.
Yeah.
What did
I wasn't planning on pushing that much further. But
what do you guys kind of think about like? It seems that they're kind of pushing Boba Fett more into the anti-hero category rather than straight up villain he's kind of always been. Tyler, as a Star Wars stan, how do you feel about that?
Sorry, I was responding to my mother via text. I was not listening. Repeat, please. Repeat.
Book of Boba Fett
all the
trailer.
moms.
They seem to be trying to make Boba Fett more of an anti-hero rather than kind of the villain he's traditionally been. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think honestly, that's like you can kind of look at that like through every Star Wars film. Like obviously, you want to look at the Empire as like the bad guy here, but like if you're on the side of the Empire, like then you would be looking at the Republic the wrong way. So I guess he's a mercenary at the end of the day. He's just a hired gun. So I guess really it's okay by me because he doesn't really care what he's doing as long as he's getting paid for the most part. I would say throughout the Star Wars universe, he has a lot more of a code or some more ethics than what I would say like Cad Bane has. Cad Bane, for all you non-Star Wars people, is another bounty hunter who basically just has zero regards for any kind of life as long as he gets his money, so he just doesn't give a shit. Whereas I think Boba Fett, being a little older, and his roots run a little bit more deeper in the crime syndicate, he's probably got a little more code behind him. But other than that, I'm okay with him kind of being like that because he's got such a fan base behind him that they're just trying to get more people to like him, which is fine. I already like him, and I liked him when he was like a designated villain, so I don't care.
Sure. I don't know. I think for me as like not the biggest Boba Fett just fan right out of the gate and like a pretty big Star Wars fan, but not a major one, this kind of turn... It almost just feels in some ways like it's just like, well, we saw the opportunity to make a series and so we did. You know, they haven't quite convinced me that this is like necessary yet, I guess, by this trailer alone.
I can see that.
And I feel like
there doesn't.
Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
No, you go.
I don't know. I just feel like maybe I'm kind of feeling that with like a lot of stuff recently, particularly like the Marvel stuff and everything now. It's like it's so ubiquitous that it's like, okay, you almost have to prove to me further why I should spend my time watching you at this point with that kind of stuff. I don't know. I feel myself giving Marvel, Star Wars, some of the like even DC and stuff too, like giving them kind of a shorter and shorter leash of just like what I will spend my time on.
I think that's very fair. I mean, since Disney Plus has come out, we've gotten how many TV shows now in the span of like 2 years?
Yeah,
close to like 10 or so, maybe even a dozen.
Wow.
Between Marvel and Star Wars, I mean, and it just doesn't feel like, I think more to your point, Nathaniel, I think it just doesn't feel like these are necessary and they're just kind of there to be there.
right.
Like they're there for people to watch. They're there so people have Star Wars and Marvel content to watch, but they don't really serve much of a purpose as far as like continuing a story or pushing a universe forward in some way. They're just kind of there, almost.
Yeah, I guess pushing it forward in any sort of meaningful way.
Yes.
What I'd be looking for.
Ty?
I pretty much kind of said my piece on that. Yeah.
What's your excitement level here, though?
I think I'm all in. Yeah,
You're
for
all
the
in
most
still.
part. I mean, I loved The Mandalorian. I thought it was
you think it's better than Game of Thrones, which is hilarious, but
I said that last episode is pretty close to.
Okay.
or I guess one of the season finales. I can't quite remember, but they do definitely have some of the best TV that has come out in recent years. I will absolutely stand on that hill. But I mean, Game of Thrones obviously has its merits, and there's some pretty big merits. So I will never fault it. Like I said, I don't care what people say about the ending of Game of Thrones. The pros on that further outweigh the cons of some of the episodes in the very last season. So I will always stand on that hill too.
Yeah. Do you have hope that this is, or I guess either do you have hope and do you think this will be better than Mandalorian?
I don't know if it'll be better. I don't even know if I want it to be, because like Boba Fett has been around for so long, and like I said, I grew up on him being kind of like a backseat character. He's just like somebody that, like, you know, you see and you love just because he's there and he doesn't really do a whole lot. And then you get into Clone Wars and you get to see a little bit more of that kind of stuff and kind of where he's come from. And I like Mandalorian because it was new, it was original. It's not anything that we've really seen from, one, that character, but two, it was like, it's like one of the first live action TV shows that we get of Star Wars. So I think I'm a little bit more excited for Obi-Wan than this, but I guess we'll see by the time we're done with it.
Fair enough.
And this is one trailer. You know, this show can still be fucking awesome, and I'll eat my words. So,
yeah, I very strong possibility that that happens. I'm pretty sure Dave Filoni's still on this, and I'm not sure if Favreau is, but Filoni's been doing a lot of good Star Wars stuff, so I'm sure it'll be at least entertaining at the very least. But we can move on to our next trailer here, which is going to be the new Lightyear trailer coming from Pixar, with voice actor Chris Evans taking over for Tom Hanks.
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen. God, I was like, which one does which? And I couldn't think of it. I didn't have time to process. I could have figured it out 100%. I didn't have time to process it. Tim Allen, thank you. As Buzz Lightyear in this new teaser. I do want to, before we talk about the actual movie, I do want to, highlight this teaser trailer. This was a great trailer, just as far as like how much it showed.
Yeah.
What it gave us. It's all I needed. And honestly, like, I wish just more regular trailers were like this. I think trailers nowadays, we've talked about before, give away way too much, especially when you have 2 or 3 trailers for a movie. I don't need to see that much of what I'm going to go see. And I think this is a good example of how trailers should lean more towards into leaving things more ambiguous.
We did get our slowed down 80s pop song, so
we did
hit that requirement.
Yeah.
We were also talking about like just how trailers, after they happen so long, when we were actually in the theater for Antlers today, there was in the Eternals trailer where he's like, oh, what's this table made out of, vibranium? And then he breaks it and he's like, IKEA fall collection. I'm like, what if they just don't put that in the movie?
I hope they don't. I hope they don't. I think I'd agree with Daniel on that trailer probably 25 times at this point, and I'm not even like, that's not hyperbole. It has been in everything for years now. I go to sleep and I think about that trailer.
Really quick on Eternals, did you guys see all the Twitter talk about that cut in the promo they released of Angelina Jolie?
No,
what is it?
Oh, they released like a cut, and it's in the trailer. It's of Angelina Jolie like slicing a monster. But then, like, she, like, slides on one knee, like, cuts it, does, like, a spin, and, like, cuts with both blades. And then, like, she, like, goes to stand up, and then they cut, and then it's, like, her, like, getting on her feet, basically. But, like, the background has completely changed, and it just does not look continuous at all. It's so unnecessary for a cut. You can tell it's just because it was the whole fucking first part of that shot.
Yeah, it's just not her.
It just cut to her, yeah.
Sure.
Right.
But it's like the background didn't match up at all, and I just saw so many people roasting it on Twitter. It was really funny.
That's funny.
But back to Lightyear, guys. Saw a lot of positive reactions to this on Twitter as well. I had a very positive reaction to this. It looks great from what we're seeing. I think the animation, Pixar is, I don't know how they keep doing it, but getting better and better. I think this movie looks great as far as the animation style that it's going with. Chris Evans only really gives like one line towards the end. We only really hear him speak one line, but it sounded fine from that. So we'll see how he kind of replaces Tim Allen, not Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, as Lightyear. What are your guys' reactions though? Overall positive?
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, so this is about the character Buzz Lightyear. So it's like it is the movie that the toy is based off of.
Based on.
Yes. Which will be
Which is actually a cool idea in my opinion.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It looks all right. I was in. I didn't think I would be in, but then I would be in. They said to infinity and beyond, and
he actually didn't say beyond.
Yeah, he didn't say beyond it.
Well, just said to infinity and then it cut.
You understood. But yeah, it's like Toy Story is one of those movies that is, I think it was like the third movie I ever saw or something like that. So it will always be, up there, number one in my heart. So, I'll be there for this. No doubt in my mind.
I'll be there. Also, Pixar could do no wrong. They really haven't.
They very rarely misstep. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely excited for this. Blake, any reactions you want to share with us?
Yeah, man. I'm excited for it. I definitely think this is for like our age demographic, right? Because we're the people who grew up on Toy Story.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be another one of those Disney Pixar movies where you go in and like there'll be a lot of adults.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool to kind of see that. But yeah, man, I'm in. I think Chris Evans is a good pick for Buzz. So yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. I mean, it is only a teaser, so I don't know how much more we have to say. I'm assuming
it just
we'll get
said
something
in cinemas, didn't it? It didn't give us like a date or anything like that.
Summer 2022.
Oh, okay.
That's at the end of the trailer. So summer 2022. So this upcoming summer, which is a good spot for it. I think Pixar does that summer spot a lot. I know Soul was like June, but that was actually delayed. I don't know how many months.
No, Soul was
pandemic, but
Soul was like late.
Or no,
in the
Soul.
year.
Yeah,
it was like Christmas.
Soul was. Yeah, no, you're right. Soul was like December, but I'm pretty sure it was delayed from like June.
Oh, okay. I'll buy that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong, but
I'll buy that for $1.
But pretty safe bet that we should probably be reviewing this. I would definitely be down. We'll have to see, of course, what the schedule looks like later on in the summer, but maybe be on the lookout for that. And then our final trailer for Trailer Talk here is the new Morbius trailer. This is trailer number 2, apparently, but I missed trailer number 1.
Oh, really?
But I think the first trailer like a teaser.
I don't know exactly, but it came out like over a year ago or something.
Yeah.
I don't.
It played before
trailer 2.
Played before the trailer for something I saw this week. The first trailer for Morbius. But whatever.
The first one?
Yeah. New one's out, so
new one's
doesn't
out.
matter.
Yeah, regardless. I'm not really familiar with the Morbius character. I don't know if any of you guys are.
I know a little bit.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Support that.
Where do you guys land on Jared Leto? I know some people are.
I don't mind Jared Leto.
Don't like him.
I don't like Jared Leto.
He's kind of just in the middle of the road for me. I don't really know him like as a person, and I don't really like pay attention to him, what he's done like outside of the movie world. So if it's based on that, I don't really know. So I can't really judge him by that. But based on what he's done, I don't like hate him, but because like I liked his Joker. I think obviously there could have been some things done with it, but from like a writing standpoint and stuff like that. But as far as like his acting and kind of his style, I'm totally okay with what he does.
Yeah, I think I'm with Ty on that. I mean, I think he did well in that. I mean, obviously there is a lot of flack on his Joker versus Heath Ledger, right? Obviously, as we can all imagine, but I think it was okay. Nathaniel's a big advocate for Blade Runner 2049. He plays the villain in that. I think he does pretty good in that as well. So, and I actually got a chance to see one of his first showings, which is a horror movie, Urban Legend, maybe a few months ago, or maybe about 6 months ago or so. But I finally caught that for the first time, and that was from like '99. So that's one of his beginning acts, and I think he did fine. So
let's not forget his Entropy list entry, Requiem for a Dream.
Totally forgot about that too. Recall, yeah, I totally forgot about that. So yeah, I don't mind it, man. I think he's a good actor.
Yeah, definitely.
Nathaniel?
Why don't you like him, Nathaniel?
Not anything. Not anything to do with his acting.
What did Jared Leto do to you?
Not anything to do with his acting. If anyone wants to figure out why I don't like him, go ahead and Google that for themselves. That's all I'll say about that.
All right. But yeah, trailer. Where do we land on this? I am decidedly like, mainly probably because I just don't know the character that well, and also this is more Sony side of things, less Marvel. So it seems to me like this is gonna be closer to a Venom than it is a Spider-Man No Way Home or anything like that.
I think you're on par with that. And for your Spider-Man reference, there are a lot of Spider-Man references in this trailer. If I'm sure you guys caught that as well. So,
and I was watching a video earlier today that they were kind of doing doing almost not necessarily an analysis, but kind of just going through the trailer like a reactions almost. And it plays into the multiverse stuff a little bit. There are references from different Spider-Mans all within this one. So there, at one point in the trailer, there's a Daily Bugle, which is it, but it's the masthead from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man's Daily Bugle. There's another point in this trailer where it's like a costume or character or something from the Amazing Spider-Man, and then there's another piece of the trailer that is like from the PlayStation Spider-Man game.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, different aspects from different Spider-Mans coming in, which definitely plays into the multiverse stuff, and we'll just very interested to see how No Way Home goes and like where that leads to as far as Spider-Man in general, and even Morbius and whatever Venom sequels we get.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that this has going for it is that it doesn't have as much strong ties to Spider-Man as like Venom does. I think Venom is a little bit more measured up to Spider-Man, and obviously you get Spider-Man from Marvel, and then you're getting Venom from Sony, and there's quite a discrepancy between the two, but I think because there's going to be a lot of people that don't tie this as strongly to Spider-Man. For the people that don't know like what this character strongly comes from, and this is going to be more of like an origin story, I actually think this is going to end up being better than both of the Venoms.
Okay,
I could see that being the case for sure.
Yeah, it's a good hill to die
on. This one, let's see, in theaters January, so not too far.
Coming up, coming up quick.
Coming up pretty quick here. We'll have to see, of course, again, whether we're going to review that or not as time gets closer. But we can move on here to Adam Schwartz's completely subjective new to streaming list for the week of October 31st through November 6th. It is the first week of the month. It feels like it's been actually a long time since we had a first week of the month. I don't know why October, just as far as back row things go, felt like a long time. But we're back with the first week of the month. This is, like I said at the beginning of the show, one of the best weeks we've probably had in a very long time. To Netflix, we're getting 21 Jump Street, a classic, of course.
Classic, yeah.
Dracula from '92. This is the Francis Ford Coppola Dracula.
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Nathaniel, are you familiar?
Yeah.
Fan?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's kind of like I would say it's kind of like the ultimate example of like your classic telling of Dracula.
Okay.
Okay.
I gotcha. It Follows from 2014. This is one I have seen, really enjoy, and kind of has like almost a cult following in some ways.
Definitely.
Not a huge film as far as like budget and everything like that goes, but definitely one that made some waves when it came out.
Great soundtrack.
I'd agree with you.
Yeah. Johnny Mnemonic with Keanu Reeves from '95. Moneyball. Great baseball movie. If you're watching the World Series, you're in the mood. That's definitely one to put on. Snakes on a Plane. Total Recall from 2012, classic. The Colin Farrell reboot.
God, was that
Nathaniel, you said like last week or the week before that you did not like it, right?
It's fine. The first one's just so much better.
Yeah.
Is that Total Recall you're referencing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
You can watch Total Recall, and it's like the 2012 one, and it's like a mildly okay action thriller. But the first one with Arnold Schwarzenegger is so much more social commentary and like balls to the wall action, adventure. It's just it's awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
If you want to watch Kate Beckinsale, just watch Underworld.
Yeah, exactly. Or even Van Helsing if you want to do that one too.
And then Netflix original that's coming. That looks pretty good. It's called The Harder They Fall. And it's basically a black western. So it's got Idris Elba, Lakeith Stanfield. Who else is in it before I forget? I looked it up earlier. So
I remember seeing the trailer and everything. Yeah, it's got a loaded cast.
Yeah, it's got a great cast.
Isn't it Regina King? Isn't she directing it too?
It is Regina King. Yep.
Regina King directing. Zazie Beetz.
Yep.
Eddie Gathegi, RJ Seiler.
I love Eddie Gathegi.
Yeah, I would say we hit the main ones here. But regardless, trailer looks good. This probably looks like one of the bigger budget Netflix movies that we've ever seen, as far as like cast and kind of production goes, from what I could tell from the trailer. So this actually might be a Netflix original that you might want to check out.
Yeah,
that comes, I believe, this Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Speaking of which, maybe you'll get to this. If not, if this isn't it, I'll bring up something else as well. Go ahead.
You're probably going to bring it up. I don't think this is what you're going to talk about.
Okay.
It's Arcane Season 1. This is a new animated series within the world of League of Legends. So if you have any League fans out there, they're getting an anime.
That was exactly what I was going to talk about. How did you know?
Oh, was it really?
No,
okay.
Not at all. Did anyone see the Cowboy Bebop trailer that dropped this past week? Like the actual one. We had the little kind of like weird promo a couple of weeks ago that we talked about. And I was saying that I was concerned that they were going to be taking more of that into the series and whatever. But the trailer looked good. I don't know if anyone else saw it.
I did not have a chance to see it, and I was thinking about putting it on Trailer Talk, but I was like, we already have enough trailers to talk about. We just talked about this last week. But I'm glad to hear you enjoyed that trailer. That's definitely shaping up to be one I check out, and we'll talk a little bit more about that and what we're watching, maybe. Bit of sizzle. To Amazon Prime, we're getting 12 Years a Slave, Alien, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, and Alien vs. Predator. Castaway from 2000, of course. Dead Poets Society.
Wilson! Yeah. R.I.P.
I haven't seen that movie in a long, long time. That'd be worth it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you have not seen that movie ever.
I believe I have when I was like
0.
Maybe like 8 or 9. Yeah, 0. Yeah. It's been like a long, long time. Dead Poets Society, Die Hard 1 and 2, Drive from 2011, Dude, Where's My Car, Due Date, Aragon, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Nomeo and Juliet. Have you guys seen this one?
I have.
This is one of the more subjective picks. Little nice animated Romeo and Juliet story.
I don't mind Romeo and Juliet.
I like it. I remember liking it when I saw it. I don't think I've seen it since theaters, but I remember watching it, or maybe I watched it at home on like VOD or something. But I remember watching it and be like, oh, this is all right. Pretty good. Good Morning Vietnam, Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. Nathaniel, how are you feeling about those Hellboys?
They're great.
Del Toro. Yeah.
I
don't know why, but I did really like those as a kid.
You did not?
They're fucking awesome.
I did. Like,
did,
I had both of them on DVD. I would watch them pretty often. I don't know why.
Probably because they're
good.
good.
Always good to me. Yeah, they are. I Now Pronounce You, Chuck and Larry, Mrs. Doubtfire, Predator 1 and 2.
Fuck yeah.
16 Candles, Slumdog Millionaire, The Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day.
Did you see they just signed for a third one?
No way.
Yeah, breaking news. I'm pretty sure they just signed them for a third one. Probably.
Because we know they're just throwing money at dumb shit.
Yeah,
for sure. Money. Let us do something. We'll give you something.
I want to say it might have been. Hold on.
We can give you something better than Boondock Saints 2.
Quick pause for
I
firmly
believe that we could.
Yeah, if we had the connections to get it done. I agree.
Yeah, exactly. We'll need a lot of help on that end, but the four of us, maybe Justin, because he kind of knows how to write things, I guess.
Don't inflate his ego though. Well, Justin, it's a maybe, dog. It's a maybe.
You can be my PA. All right. That's the height you're getting to in this production.
We'll start you off as an intern, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, you're gonna be in the mailroom.
It just says that they're writing and starting production and everyone's signed on, but I don't know if I'll believe this until I hear that it's actually going. They're saying they're waiting until Norman Reedus is done filming on The Walking Dead, but let me know. I'll believe it when I see it.
Fucking 4 seasons ago.
Hey man,
I hope they.
You think? Oh, listeners, this is the time when I lose the Discord feed for a little bit for you, but we'll be back on here in a second.
To be like, you know what? I don't need to be in that.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it has like the biggest budget of any of the 3 movies, just because they need to pay Norman Reedus more now.
Oh man,
that'd be all right.
Wouldn't be shocked. Also coming to Amazon Prime, we have the Divergent series, all 3 movies. The first one, Allegiant, and then Insurgent. Check them out if you want.
Didn't they never finish that series?
Was there a 4th one?
I think they were supposed to be, and I'm pretty sure the 3rd one ends on a cliffhanger, and they just never finished
I'm
the 4th.
I'm pretty sure the 3rd one was supposed to be a 2-parter.
Okay, but yeah, they just never finished it.
But the 3rd one was like a TV movie. It wasn't released in theaters.
Oh, really?
If I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure it was like a straight-to-TV movie.
Yeah, that was like right when the bottom fell out of the whole young adult. Like
oh yeah, that was that was
post-apocalyptic fiction.
That was the last one.
Hunger Games, Maze Runner.
Yeah, are they still making
both of those? Are good.
I know they are. That's what I'm saying. But that captured a majority of it.
Man, what a time for book reading and movies. The Mask of Zorro, The Monuments Men, Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
Who did it?
Sure.
Wild Hogs, and Wimbledon from 2004.
Is Wild Hogs that motorcycle movie with Tim Allen?
Yeah,
a bunch of like 30-year-olds.
Yeah, I think Martin Lawrence is in there as well.
John Travolta.
Yeah, they're like way up there. They're like they're in their mid 50s, probably pushing 60s in that movie.
2007. So yeah, probably 50s. I don't know. That's another one I watched as a kid. Thought it was pretty good.
Too funny.
It's a subjective list here for listeners.
It's facts.
If you have a problem with what I put on here, you can write in or leave us a 5-star review. That's it for Amazon Prime. To Hulu, they're getting the first Borat. Don't know how that left Amazon Prime, considering that they have the second one, but hey, I guess they just didn't want anymore. Also getting Boys in the Hood. Check that out. Check out our review.
Cool.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Great movie,
Fargo. Yeah, that's a good one. Still holds up. Fargo, I, Tonya, Inception, Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, the older one from 2004. Not the William Patrick Harris or Neil Patrick Harris
Netflix remake.
Netflix original series, yeah. How many seasons of that are there? Just one?
3 maybe?
3? Oh man. I remember hearing that was pretty good though.
Yeah, I thought so too. It was very Wes Anderson, if I remember correctly. I watched maybe like the first episode or something like that, so it all kind of had that very kind of straight on style to it and everything, which worked pretty well actually for the show's style or the prose's style. But I never really watched much of it after that.
You're also getting Minority Report, and Moneyball is coming to Hulu as well, in case you don't have a Netflix subscription. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. That's the first one. I think they made a second one. Did they make a second one?
They did, yeah.
They did. Yes. Sea of Monsters, I believe, is the second one. Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3. Sleepless in Seattle. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 from 86. The Fifth Element, The Legend of Zorro.
Fuck yeah.
And the Matrix trilogy also coming to Hulu. Cool. So if you're looking to rewatch that.
Have you seen The Fifth Element, Adam?
I've not.
Man.
Lilu.
Y'all need to start making a list, and I'll just start watching them.
Multipass.
Yeah, multipass.
Corbin Dallas multipass. Start a Letterboxd list for me, Blake. Let's just get them going.
Yeah, we gotta get like 90s action movies that you just missed out on. You know.
Ruby
I'm down.
Rod.
Someone's got Bruce Willis in it, man.
Also coming to Hulu, The Prestige, The War of the Worlds, and then XXX and XXX State of the Union, and Yes Man.
Wasn't there a third XXX a few years ago?
There was.
I think you're right. Yeah, it's State of Emergency.
That's gotta be right? Vin Diesel's goofiest franchise, right? Like is that more goofy than Pitch Black?
I think it's more
all
goofy.
Good or bad for Pitch Black, dude.
Yeah, I like those. I don't mind those.
Well, I think like Pitch Black's the better franchise, right? Like of the two of them.
Yeah, for sure. And then he had like a couple of those one-offs. He was like a babysitter, I think, at one point.
Oh, The Pacifier. That was a fun one.
Yeah. And then there's another one.
Was he in Torque?
Like post-apocalyptic future. It was like Babylon or something like that.
Babylon 80, yeah.
Oh, I forgot Vin Diesel's on that.
I think that was like his passion project or something.
Yeah, it was that one where he was a giant tree.
What?
Groot. Come on, man.
Oh yeah.
I thought that's what you were going for, but I was like,
yeah. Weirdly, I was like, was there like a Hobbit spinoff where he's like an ant funny. I didn't know about or something?
He's like an ant.
It's actually his avant-garde piece from when he was in college, and he just dresses up as a tree.
Bro, I wouldn't be surprised. You've heard his music.
He was the voice for the Iron Giant too, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that was the thing. Yeah, you were getting me on the voice acting gig.
Yeah.
All right, we got to move on here.
Sorry.
You're good. That's it for Hulu. HBO Max is getting A Clockwork Orange, A Good Day to Die Hard. That's the one from 2013. Caddyshack, Eyes Wide Shut, Full Metal Jacket, Pride and Prejudice, The Bourne, Identity, Legacy, and Supremacy. So the Bourne trilogy. Yeah, those are awesome. I love those. The Purge, The Wolverine from 2013. So Thelma and Louise. And that's it for your HBO Max list here. A lot of Kubrick there.
The old Cubes.
Yeah, I need to watch more of his. I've seen a lot, but not enough. And then Disney Plus is getting X-Men First Class. One of the better ones.
Love that one.
I would actually go to bet on that for one of the better X-Men films.
I would agree.
For sure.
Definitely.
I'd say that probably your Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
I don't like Days of Future Past that much. I would rather say like X2 probably.
I like the first one too.
Yeah, I like the first one's dope too. Unfortunately, they're both made by a pedophile. But that's what you get with X-Men.
All right. That's it for your new to streaming list for this week. Let's get into what we're watching and see what we've been watching over the past week. Nathaniel, what have you been watching?
I knew you were going to start with me, Adam.
In this fine month of November.
Well, I'll tell you, I was closing out the spooky month of October, so I was mostly doing horror movies again. So I started with the scariest of them all, Muppets Haunted Mansion. Which was just cute. And if you like the Muppets, you'll probably like it. None of us have kids, so there's not really a good reason any of us would really watch it. But Muppets are always funny. I always got a soft spot for them. And I like the Haunted Mansion. It's probably my second favorite ride at Disneyland. So it's cool to see those two kind of hang out. It does just kind of make me sad, though, because I feel like they just have no idea what to do with the Muppets. So,
yeah, ever since like the big puppet people of the world have passed, it's something that falls to the wayside. Like Jim Henson, and I'm just obviously you guys know how I feel about Dark Crystal.
Sure.
So, yep.
Well, like they had that great movie that was like 2013 with Jason Segel, which I thought was going to kind of like bring back the Muppet Renaissance, and then it just kind of never really went anywhere after that. But yeah,
pity.
So let's see, what else did I get to? Kind of things I've seen before. I did a movie marathon late in the week on, I guess it was Halloween. So I did The Bay, which I've talked about in the past, found footage movie, probably one of the better ones in my opinion. Joe, who I was watching it with and was doing the marathon with me, actually didn't really like it that much. So I don't know. I guess it's no factor for taste, but I still think it's worth taking a swing on if you get a chance to watch it. Also watch Trick or Treat. Halloween, got to. Brandon Waz and I got to Evil Dead 2013, which was way kind of like more comedic than I remembered it being. But
okay.
I just remembered it being a little bit more intense than it kind of was. But overall still pretty good. Also the effects have aged a little bit in a way I wasn't really anticipating. But I still like that one a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely got a few kind of comedic things. I mean, especially when what's the main character's name? Is it
Mia
Lena or something? Mia, okay. Sorry, I haven't seen it in a while, but she's got a few lines when she's possessed.
Yeah,
under the basement board that are like supposed to be really like demonic and evil and demeaning, but like they're really funny.
Yeah, I agree with you. Everyone in that movie is giving it their all. There's no doubt about that. I enjoy that one quite a bit. So on a new stuff, I got to The Last Duel. So that was the one with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Came out, I want to say 2 weeks ago.
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
like
at this point. Yeah. Adam Driver also in it, as well as Jodie Comer. Really,
like it, man?
Yeah. So I'd had a couple friends that had gone to see it and didn't really appreciate it. They felt like it is a story that centers around a sexual assault, and that sexual assault ends up being depicted in the movie twice. And they were kind of felt just like
hard watch.
Yeah, and they were just kind of like, it didn't really need to be there more than once kind of thing. And that's kind of a double-edged sword, because what the movie does is it does kind of a classic storytelling technique in which they tell the same story from 3 different characters' perspectives. And so you, as the audience, get all 3, and you can kind of see the differences in between one. And obviously, as a viewer, you gain a greater understanding of the characters and the nuances between them because of that. So I can definitely understand that viewpoint, and I empathize with that for sure. And I think, to an extent, they're 100% right. There is a way to do that exact same story without having to go into that detail. So they have a point there. That being said, I think overall this is probably Ridley Scott's best film in a while. It's certainly his most kind of nuanced film, I would say. But I will also say it's not going to be for everyone. It's definitely a bigger movie. It's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 45 minutes. And it's not all action. It's a lot of talking. But I think all the performances are really good. I thought the actors are doing a really, really great job within it. Looks pretty great. Doesn't really pull any punches, and pretty good movie overall for sure.
And when the action kicks in that thing, it does kick though.
Right.
So the action is really good.
Yeah.
At the end, you kind of get that final duel.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got to see that, man. It was pleasantly surprised. Kind of drags on a little bit in the middle segment.
I would definitely say,
to see everyone's little perspective. You see people's difference in dialogue, movements, hand gestures.
Yeah,
so that's kind of tough to rewatch it like back to back to back. But
I thought they did a good job of balancing that for the most part, of like the bits where you were kind of like, okay, you don't need to see this because it's pretty much the same kind of thing. You didn't really have too much of that. So I thought that was pretty good. I think the film definitely kind of chooses a side overall. But yeah, I would say for sure it's definitely worth a watch. And most folks.
I agree. How was, real quick for you jump into something else? How was the theater when you saw that? So I caught that I think last week with a friend of mine.
So
and it was me, him, and one other lady in there.
Okay,
it's like an older lady.
Okay, so I saw it with my brother down in Southern Illinois while we were visiting my mom, and I think because of that and because of like who was in it, there was like 3 or 4 kind of older couples in it as well, and they were kind of like they kind of had that like traditional Midwestern, like whenever anything bad happened, they were like, oh. And like, or like someone would come up on screen and they'd be like, oh, I like him, or something like that, you know? So, that was a little bit kind of funny, I guess, but overall it was a good crowd, I'd say.
Okay, cool.
Another thing that I got to that actually we've talked about on the podcast before was The Vigil, which I think, Blake, you talked about last week, maybe?
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, I got to that this week. That kind of completed my walkthrough of Halloween this year. I got through a bunch of stuff that they had on there that I hadn't seen yet that I wanted to see still. So that was cool.
Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I liked, I will say, 95% of it. I would say it loses a little bit of steam at the end, but overall, I would say pretty good job. Pretty cool. I would I think this is a really cool kind of like take on the possession genre or the ghost story genre. I would definitely be down to see more things like this, particularly because this is like so just tied into like the Jewish community and everything, and that's just is a huge community and a huge area of folklore and backstories and scary things that we can watch and explore that we just really haven't done yet. So I think all that, the more that we get to do, is the cooler it'll be.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, pretty dope. I would definitely recommend it. It's short and sweet.
It is. It was on like an hour 29 or something.
Yeah.
Definitely fly through it.
Good
film.
Let's see. Another one that I got to this week. I think I got 2 left on here as well. Yeah. So I got to In the Earth. That's also on Hulu.
Okay. What'd you think of that? I caught that one in theaters.
Yeah.
When it came out. That
so
was April or something.
I loved that actually.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah. So that's Ben Wheatley. He did Kill List and High Rise. And yeah, it's crazy. It's the first movie I've seen that kind of directly references the pandemic, and is like the characters within it are like, oh yeah, like I wasn't able to see my family as much, or like, oh, we're coming out of lockdown and that kind of thing. It is a slow burn horror movie for sure, but I love the genre of storytelling of the exploration expedition. That's like one of my favorite like storylines ever, is whenever a group of people are going somewhere on some sort of exploration or on an expedition or a journey or something like that. Those are always my favorite kind of stories. And this definitely turns into this. Yeah, it turns into like kind of a dark version of that. I love the kind of like how it gets towards the end where there's this really weird melt of like science and technical side of things, and then like art and nature as well. Just overall, I thought a really kind of cool movie for sure. But enjoyed that quite a bit as well. Also on Hulu, definitely worth your time. And then I also saw Last Night in Soho, which was the new Edgar Wright movie as well. No spoilers here, but definitely worth a watch. Waz, who I saw it with, loved it. I will say that I liked it quite a bit, but it is not going to end up being on my favorite Edgar Wright things. And I think it may just be because I am so close to the horror genre in a lot of ways.
Right. Okay. That's one I kind of had on my radar but didn't get to, so I might have to.
It's definitely worth seeing.
And catch it.
It's definitely worth seeing. Yes, 100%. I really want you, all three of you guys, to see it, because I think I might be being a little bit harsh on it overall. So I'd be really interested to hear all three of your guys' opinions on it.
Sure. Well, we do have it potentially on the schedule. It's kind of tentative right now, so we'll have to talk about it post-pod.
Gotcha.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, other than that, I got to Antlers, and that was it.
Cool. Want to popcorn someone?
Oh, I guess, yeah. Do you want me to popcorn someone? I can popcorn someone if you want.
I mean, this is how we do it.
You know what? I'll popcorn you, Adam.
Oh shit. Thank you, well, speaking of you, I did finish season 3.
Segue. I don't have an air horn sound. I wanted one though. Sorry. Now I'll actually let you talk.
It was fine overall. The season, I talked about it probably more in detail than I don't want to rehash everything I said last week. So if you really want my full thoughts on season 3, you can go listen back there. But yeah, good, more of the same. Nathaniel walked away right as I was about to explain something I talked about last week with the certain type of camera that they do and kind of this wide angle, almost out of focus fisheye kind of lens. I kind of figured out, I think, why they do it. I think it's supposed to be when the characters are feeling crazy or aggressive or like are in that like dangerous state of mind. And it's kind of a way to try and tip off the viewer. I could be wrong, but that's kind of like the only reason I've been able to gather from watching it. And they do play it up a little bit more in those last 2 episodes or so. So yeah, I'll tell Nathaniel about it later. He went to go get water or whatever. So, but now you know, listener. I also got to. I started Cowboy Bebop. I've really only watched like the first episode. I had a little bit more on in the background, but I have to like go back and like pay attention. But like the first episode, I'm definitely gonna finish it out.
For sure.
Fun animation style from that late '90s style.
Yeah,
liking it so far. Yeah.
Is that your first watch on that?
Yes, it is. Yeah. I haven't seen it before. Obviously, it's one I am aware of, have heard of, but just one I never really got around to watching myself. But definitely excited to finish that out and then eventually go to the live action series. I decided to watch it in the dub rather than the sub, just because I didn't. Sub can be a lot sometimes. You basically have to pay attention the whole time to read and know what's going on. And sometimes I just want to have something on in the background, or at least be able to like check my phone while I'm watching, something like that. So I decided to go with the dub, liking it so far. Let's see. I also got for my film class, a movie called Smithereens from, I believe, like 93, mid-90s, something like that. Nathaniel, are you familiar with this film?
I am not. Tell me more.
It is, I don't know what year it is. I will find that out right now. But the whole topic this week was feminist film and that kind of thing, women breaking out into Hollywood and kind of earning their right a little bit more. Let's see, Smithereens, a movie. That's what I'm looking for. This is 82, actually much earlier than I thought. I thought it was early 90s, but early 80s, 82. Kind of deals, it's got like a more of a punk rock setting. It takes place in New York, but the way it ties into the feminine kind of things that we're talking about was the roles kind of reversed for the two kind of main characters. So the guy acts more in a feminine role, or at least what you'd see in a feminine role in like a movie, and the girl act of a male role, for the most part. And it's pulled off pretty well. I didn't like love the movie in general, but as far as like that goes, it's actually does do that pretty successfully. So that's on HBO Max if you're interested. And then the last thing I got to this week, I got to 2 documentaries, both on Netflix. It's part of their Untold series. I'm assuming you guys have probably maybe seen them pop up when you go through Netflix. They've been doing them past couple months. I think they've released a few. I don't know how many there are total, but they're kind of like separate sports documentaries, basically. They're definitely more of the storytelling aspect of documentary. To like, the purpose is to entertain and tell a story rather than to inform, because obviously there's different levels of different types of documentaries and stuff. And so there are some reenactments, there are some things you wouldn't typically see in like a regular documentary, but it's still very, very good. So I watched one that's called Malice in the Palace.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys seen this one?
Well, no, we're old enough to have experienced it live.
I remember what it was.
Yeah, so I haven't seen that doc though. I want to. I got a lot of buddies who have seen it, and they're obviously like, yeah, dude, it's real good. But
it is, yeah, because it wasn't an event I was really familiar with, actually, like at all.
Really?
So I only really heard of it through that documentary. When was that? What year?
I mean, I don't know.
I
think I was alive.
4 or something.
Yeah, I think 04.
That's and not to cut you off, Adam, but like that's one of the sporting events where like I would have loved for that to happen now with like social media.
Man.
That would be crazy to see in real time, man. Because they had people fucking going in stands, fighting people, just crazy.
Yeah,
man.
It was wild.
Yeah. So that was definitely a good one. Worth a watch. Kind of got a lot of Last Dance vibes from it. Not just because of the basketball, but also the way they kind of go around telling the story.
Is that a one like part thing, or is there multiple? Okay.
Yeah, so Netflix has multiple sports documentaries under the Untold banner, but they are
kind of like
stories.
Their 30 for 30, right?
Kind of,
Right.
kind of,
Okay,
definitely, yeah. And then so that one was really good. And then the other one I got to was called Breaking Point. And this is about American tennis player, Marty Fish, who kind of peaked in his career around 2011, 2012. This was the closest we've had to a tennis version of Drive to Survive, at least from what I've seen so far. This was really good. Not as... like I said before, it is more of a storytelling type of documentary, and they are just telling the story, so it's not as like, informative or universal perspective as I'd like it to be. But as far as like making tennis entertaining, kind of making it like fun to watch and enticing, even if you are not a tennis fan, this has done this better than anything else I've seen so far.
Yeah,
and I would love something of the style mixed with like a Drive to Survive, because it's there. And this has just proven my point that tennis can do this. It's just they
tennis can be cool, damn it.
It can be mainstream, I promise. But yeah, this was also a really good one. Liked it a lot. And I want you guys to check it out, because tennis is awesome. A lot of good storylines. And it also we've talked about it whenever I've talked about tennis on the podcast and like a post pod or whatever. We've talked about the big three. Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, and they go all into that, and you kind of get a little bit understanding as to like why they're so good, basically, and why they're such a problem in tennis.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, both of those are definitely really, really good, and I'm probably going to go back and check out the other Untolds that there are, because those have shown me that they're actually pretty decent. So
yeah. Hey Adam, while you're on that and while you're on the tennis topic, I mean to ask you that. Have you seen the trailer of the Will Smith movie with
I did.
Serena Williams?
That played before Dune, I think it was.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
And
what are your
that
thoughts
actually,
on that then? Because you're the first person I've thought of when that came out. So I'm sure.
Yeah, I want to check that out for sure. It's interesting that they kind of just chose to focus on Serena's dad rather than Serena herself.
Or Venus too, right? I mean, she was pretty
and
good.
Venus, yes. Sorry, well, yes, obviously. But it seems to be mainly about her dad, and like why he made the decisions he did, getting them to where they got.
Right. Let's talk about a man instead.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be interested to see. I'll probably check that out when it comes out. I think it's like November 23rd or something like that. So,
sounds right.
But yeah, I'm interested in that. Give me all the tennis content we can get.
For sure.
It needs some revival here, guys. But yeah, that's it for my list. I'll toss it over to Blake.
Yeah, I'll keep it quick here. I didn't have too much to watch this week. I told you guys I was kind of busy, caught up in a lot of personal things, so didn't get too much. Did get to Trick or Treat, as that's now going to be a certified Halloween rewatch.
Yes, sir.
Me, so definitely had to get that one on the bucket. Saw Antlers Saturday night, as I kind of disclosed a little bit on pre-pod, in the city. So it was a really good viewing on that. It was a full theater, so that was pretty cool. And then, yeah, that's all I got to. And then today, I guess I'll use it as reference to kind of, usually, as listeners know, and obviously you three, we usually try to have the movie on in the background. This time I can't have Antlers on because that's in theater only. So I have The Ritual on, which is about as close as you can get to Antlers.
Yeah, I had a thought about that too while we were watching Antlers.
Yeah, so I threw that one on. Very similar kind of vibes, and I've seen it before, so just kind of refresh my memory on it. But yeah, that's all I got to. Antlers and Trick or Treat. We've already done reviews on those. Review on Antlers coming up, so I'll go ahead and pass it over to Ty.
Oh, hey guys, it's me. I'm last. I'll go ahead and make mine quick too. Mine's not too crazy, just because we were still on a kick with certain things. So we have one more episode of You till we are done. So we're probably gonna get to that Thursday or Friday night, I'm sure. So I'll finish that for sure this upcoming week. Funny that Nathaniel said things are mentioning like COVID and stuff like that now, because You also does that, which is funny because I wrote that down to mention that. But yeah, at one point he references the pandemic directly. I think he actually says COVID, but so that was interesting. Still got to a couple episodes of Manifest, so that's still going, keeping my interest. I told Nathaniel that I started a show that I wanted to get him into, but it just felt like the right time of year because it's cold out. But that is Vikings. That is on Hulu and Peacock. So if you have not got around to that, that is also one of my favorite pieces of television. So
yeah, my dad's a huge fan of that.
Yeah, it's a dope ass show.
Can't confirm. Peacock's Halloween section was called Peacocktober. So,
okay. So is Peacock worth the subscription, fellas? It seems like they got a lot of shit on there.
I'm probably gonna get rid of mine just because I don't really access it. I knew that this was also on Hulu, so for whatever reason, I just browsed in there to see if like maybe it was worth keeping. But I only got it specifically for Halloween, and I think I'm probably gonna get rid of it.
Okay.
When I was looking at it for like the horror stuff, because Halloween Kills was gonna be on there, they kept saying like, oh, we have all of these different horror movies, but it was one of those things that was like it was all the sequels for like Friday the 13th and Halloween 2 and Nightmare on Elm Street. Sure. So they're like, oh, we have all these great things. I was like, yeah, you have sequels 4, 5, and 6 or something like that. It just feels padded out is what I'm saying.
Right. Okay. Good to know.
So yeah, I love that show. So I will be very happy to be redoing a rewatch of that. That will more than likely be by myself. Leah's definitely not into that style of show, so I'm cool with that. Which is probably also going to make me want to boot up Valhalla at some point because I know they've had DLC. We'll get to that. And then I did get to Batman: A Long Halloween Part 2. I think that was on Saturday night because I think it was like right before Halloween. I was like, this seems like something I should just watch right now because I watched the first one previous week. So, and then one thing I almost forgot to put on here, which is the last thing, and the only reason it was kind of off was because I didn't even get like halfway through it, but I did start Waterworld.
Alrighty.
So I will probably get around to finishing that this week at some point as well. Judge if you will. I don't care.
I love Waterworld. Haven't seen it since I was like 10, but
yeah, it's a good vibe.
Dennis Hopper's just so insane in that one. I mean, he's insane in every movie he's in, but like he's very insane in that one.
That is an absolute fact. Is
that it for your list then, Ty?
Yeah, that is it for me. I'm all done.
Not bad.
All right. Well, that means we can get into the review segment here. Listeners, Nathaniel, can you give anyone who's new, or maybe they've just forgotten, a rundown of how a review segment works?
No. Figure it out, listeners. It's gonna be a moment of exploration for you and wonder and mystery. No. I'll tell you about it, I guess. If you're new or if you've forgotten, there's 2 different segments here on Back Row Banter. To our main review segment. The first part of it is going to be non-spoilers. In the non-spoiler section, we will talk to you about the IMDb page. What year it came out, the directors, any big name actors in it. We'll go around, give our first initial thoughts, any big ideas we have about the movie itself. We'll each have to decide, would we recommend this movie, yes or no? There is no nuance on the internet. And then we'll go on into our spoiler section. I will play the spoiler sound, which sounds like this. So if anyone doesn't want to have it spoiled, when you hear that sound, back out. Come back later, though, because we will want you to finish the rest of the episode. Once we're in the spoiler section, we'll go into our deeper thoughts about the movie, go into any big spoiler plot points or anything like that, and really kind of get into the nitty-gritty. And once we're done with that, we'll bring everyone back in. And if you didn't want us to be spoiled, that will be your time to come back in. And we'll see where we will rank this on our Entropy list, which is our big list of everything we have watched for the podcast. Ranked. With that being said, Adam, tell me about Antlers.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is Antlers. Released last weekend in 2021. Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 39 minutes. It's got a 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb. So, not amazing. Not amazing reviews, of course. Directed by Scott Cooper and written by Scott Cooper, Henry Chasen, and Nick Antosca. None of whom really had anything I was too familiar with going into this.
Yeah, Antosca.
You are more of it.
Antosca wrote the short story that the film is based off of. Cooper, I know as a director, he's done he specializes in kind of like gritty, marginalized life on kind of like the edges of society movies. There's one he did with Christian Bale called Out of the Furnace. He did another one called Hostiles, which was like set in like the Wild West and was about the expansion into the Native American territories.
I remember not seeing this movie, but seeing the trailers and stuff.
Yeah. So he very much kind of does that style, is known for kind of that rural look and everything like that, which you can see in this movie as well. But this is definitely his kind of first foray into horror, I would say.
He also did Black Mass, which that's what I know him from.
I haven't seen that. Have you?
I have. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
Not horrible by any means, but I wouldn't go to bat for it.
Gotcha.
Have you seen that one, Ty?
I have not.
It seems like a time movie. Okay.
Jeff Bridges won the Oscar for his performance in Crazy Heart, which is another one of Cooper's movies, but I don't know what that says about Cooper's directing.
Starring, of course, Kerry Russell and Jesse Plemons as the two leads, I would say. I guess the third being Jerry T. Thomas, who is a child actor who hasn't done a ton, but one thing I did recognize him in is he's done The Righteous Gemstones.
Yes.
Yeah,
I haven't seen
he's
that.
one of the
Is that
kids in
good?
that.
So funny.
It's actually it's actually really good. It's David McBride. What's his face? God damn it.
Adam Devine. Is that who you're thinking of, or John Goodman?
John Goodman. Thank you. No, but it's really good. That's on HBO Max. There was never a second season, was there?
Hasn't come out yet. They're making it though.
Yeah. Okay, good. Because they set it up for a second one, and I was very excited for it.
That show's incredible.
That show's really good. Definitely one that I don't think a lot of people have seen. Really, it was pretty popular at the time, but since then it's kind of like just not been talked about at all.
I would agree.
We'll see what happens when a second season comes out. But anyway, those three are the main leads. Nobody else on this cast list that I recognize terribly, unless I'm missing someone. Nathaniel. It's Graham Greene. I think I've seen before. He plays the former sheriff, Native American.
Oh sure, yeah, he would be the only other one. He feels like he's in a Twilight at some point.
Yeah, I'm trying to see on his IMDb if maybe I can figure out where. But
it looks like he's in the Green Mile.
You know what? He is in Twilight.
Oh, there you go.
He's really.
Amy Madigan, the principal, the female principal. There, I always recognize her from Field of Dreams. She's the wife from Field of Dreams. But yeah,
okay.
And she was just in another movie I watched. I think The Hunt, maybe. But there you have it, listeners.
The cast. And the IMDb summary reads as follows. In an isolated Oregon town, a middle school teacher and her sheriff brother become embroiled with their enigmatic student, whose dark secrets lead to terrifying encounters with a legendary ancestral creature who came before them. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Good one. Yeah. That's definitely up there. That's in the upper quartile. I think as I've outlined before in IMDb summaries.
Yeah, this is a tough movie because I feel like it's one of those ones that I almost wish you could go into completely blind. You know?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Maybe another instance of trailers doing too much for you?
A little bit, I would say, but I also just think this movie kind of has... Well, are we getting into kind of the review segment, I guess, here a little bit?
Yeah.
I think it has kind of one trick that it is pulling throughout it.
Mm-hmm.
Does it well, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. And while we're on cast, I had to look up to kind of make sure I wasn't tripping myself. But the other deputy...
he's from Deadpool, isn't he?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is he from Deadpool?
No, but I know him from Oculus. He's the dad in Oculus. Who goes insane. Okay. And yeah, it was on the tip of my tongue the whole movie when I was watching it. I was just able to confirm it now. But could be in Deadpool too, though, to Nathaniel's point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he plays the guy that recruits Deadpool and like gives him the card.
Like the doctor guy?
Yeah.
The guy who's okay, gotcha.
But anyways, I digress. What did you guys think of this? We've been waiting for it for a while. Blake and I have been.
Yeah.
This movie was filmed in 2018 to be released in late 2019, and I'm pretty sure it got pushed after that to 2020, and then it just got delayed
and then
again.
The pandemic.
Yeah. So this has been on our radar for a while. So my expectations were, I think, pretty high going into them. Even though I was trying to temper them as much as I could, but I was definitely excited for this one. Blake, how were you feeling?
Right there with you, bro. I mean, I remember talking about this one back in the store, which sounds like ages ago to me.
True.
But yeah, so I mean, this is one I've been kind of heavily anticipating for some time, and it's almost like surreal when you finally get to sit down in the theater and see it. But yeah, I was heavily anticipated, and I did have high expectations. I had to kind of dial them down, but for the most part, I mean, I think I was okay with it. Didn't really walk away like, oh, this is horrible, which is also plausible with horror movies. But I didn't walk away and I wasn't blown away. But I did like it. It is a dark film though. So there's a lot of dark themes, right? Which I kind of assumed that going into just how the trailer was set up and everything and how it looks. So it definitely kind of hits that on the head. I wish they went into a little more depth on some of those themes. But it's an hour and 30-something minute movie, so like you're just not going to get any of that shit at the end of the day.
I agree.
So, yeah. Overall, I would say I'm okay with it. I would recommend it to somebody, especially for it to have been on like a Halloween horror movie. I think it kind of fit up right on that. Granted, it wasn't a slasher, but I think it worked well. And the monster design is fucking dope.
I would agree. I think you guys are gonna have to like talk me off the ledge here because I want to like this movie so much, but I run into a couple different things. One of which being, once the monster in this movie is revealed, and I'm avoiding spoilers as much as I can here, but it is very easy to find out what the monster is with this movie just by like looking it up on IMDb or something like that. But anyways,
right.
I am left thinking that there is nothing in this movie horror-wise, scare-wise, that cannot be achieved with the monster being a bear instead of being what it is. You know what I mean? And so like I feel like if you are going to tell this story in this way, you have to do something to separate it out from just like a bunch of other story and from a bunch of other just monster terrorizes family or monster terrorizes surrogate family or monster terrorizes town or something like that. And the way you do that is you lean into the monster, and it's just like they did that part of the way. The setting of this is incredible. I'm so into the setting and the ideas behind it, but just the execution of like the actual scares and the monster itself is just where it felt like it fell down for me.
Sure. Adam, Ty?
I am like right down the middle of the road. There's a part of me that throughout this movie I was just like, okay, I cannot like care and still have a good time and watch this. Like I'm not trying to decipher anything. I'm like I'm just gonna try and like just relax and just not dig in too much here. But then the other part of me is just like I don't like that. I just don't like that. and it makes me laugh. So that's where it kind of like takes me out of that whole just kind of sinking and not giving a shit kind of feeling. But I really don't know. I'm like full blown right down the middle of the road.
Okay. Adam?
I'm more towards Ty's end of things. There's a lot I do like about this, especially visually, how it was directed, but there's just a lot that either didn't work or could have worked better. In many aspects of this. Nathaniel, I think your point about it being the main monster being exchanged for a bear and it not making much of a difference. Which should we be talking about that in non-spoilers?
It's a monster movie. It's not really that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's good. All right. Whatever. But yeah, no, that was a good point because there's nothing really that made this feel unique in that way, as far as like what does this monster do that another monster can't.
Well, and yeah, like kind of to what Blake. Well, I'll wait for spoilers for that point. But okay. I got dibs on immediately after spoilers. All
right, that's all you. That's all you. So yeah, it overall, not a bad film by any means, but
yeah,
nothing. There's nothing that stands out to me as like, oh, you got to go see this because of X. There is no X for me. It's
okay,
fairly run of the mill for me personally.
Sure.
As far as my recommendation goes, I lean more towards no.
Okay.
Is a not a recommend. It's just like I said, there isn't anything special where I'm like it's jumping out to me to be like, hey, you got to go see this movie. You got to go see this movie. If someone was to walk up to me and say, hey, should I watch this or not? I would say, yes, but it's hard for me to like go out and just hardcore recommend this or anything. I'd say this is definitely passable, or at least maybe wait a little bit till it comes to a streaming service or something like that.
Right. All right, I'm going to be up against an uphill battle this episode. We'll see when we get into spoilers.
Sure.
Given my stance, if somebody asks, "Is this watchable?" or like, "Should I check it out?" I think I would say yes.
You would say yes.
Yeah, even though my pros outweigh my cons here, and I think this is still a digestible movie, especially for somebody that hasn't looked into it. And so, yeah, I think based off of that, I would say, yeah, go fucking watch it.
Sure. So that's a no for me, yes from Ty. Nathaniel, you said your yes?
Yeah, I think I have to side with Tyler in this one. I think you have to take it in a vacuum in this situation for a recommendation, yes or no. I think if I went into this movie with no expectations and if I just woke up in a movie theater and this movie was playing, I think my interest would be captured enough to get me to sit through and watch the entire film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with that being said, I recommend this movie. Also, with that being said, just go watch Last Night in Soho. You have the option this weekend. It's the better movie. Just go do that instead. And I say that I wanted to love this movie so much. I loved its pedigree. I thought it'd be really interesting for Scott Cooper to go in this direction. Obviously, I've gone on pod as being a very huge fan of Del Toro and his work, but this just proved to me Scott Cooper's just not a horror director, I don't think.
Right.
And that's okay. He did. I think he did a passable job with this one, but yeah, that's where I'll stand. I recommend it, but go watch Last Night in Soho.
Okay. And I can understand the Last Night in Soho thing. I think I want to see that myself.
Yeah.
But I could certainly see that definitely being a better movie for the masses.
For sure.
Right. So I mean, I could definitely see that.
I don't think
from cast and everything.
Yeah, and I don't think this movie's bad. But I've seen so many horror movies that have this plot that like I'm just a little bit bored of it by now. And like again, with where they go with the monster and everything in this, I just think there are other options too. And even like I said, I'll save my last bit on that for spoilers.
We still have spoilers.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get to spoilers.
And Blake, you were recommend?
Yeah, I'd recommend it.
All right. Well, I guess that splits us 3-1 here on the recommend scale, if you want to call it that. Anyway, we're going to head into spoilers. So if you've not seen Antlers and do not want it spoiled for you, go ahead and check the episode description where I have marked a timestamp you can jump to, which will take you to our ranking of the movie, Hop Upon the Entropy List.
Hop upon.
Spoilers.
Shit goes down.
Shit goes down.
And down.
Shit goes
down. And down. And then
shit goes a lot of different places here.
Yeah.
I can't really see where shit goes.
My point was
kind of hard. It's kind of hard to see where that shit's going.
Just go watch The Ritual. The Ritual is the better version of this movie too.
Right. And that's exactly what I was going to say, Nathaniel. Where if you want to watch a movie about some Native American mythology and a Wendigo, just watch The Ritual.
Yeah, like
I have it on in my background right now, and
it's not specifically a Wendigo in that one. I think it's like a Swedish folklore or whatever. But like,
okay,
it's just so much better horror directed. Like the tension is better. The way they shoot the monster is better. It's just a better version of this movie. But
yeah, I'd agree with that. But that being said, though, I do think Antlers. I think in the tail end, once the monster's revealed, it kind of loses it. But that's almost the part of a creature feature, right?
Yeah,
but I do think prior to that, I think the build-up was really good. So I think the first
I don't know,
like the first act and the first half of the second act, first half of the second act, I thoroughly enjoyed. Where you kind of see like what the dad's going through, and there's themes of obviously like child abuse, sexual abuse, drug addiction, right? I think the setting and the location for this is perfect.
That I agree with, and like I have a pretty personal connection. I feel like to like this level of lifestyle and economy, because like just growing up in Arizona, I felt like I was around a lot of this stuff too. And like you go up into northern Arizona, and you run into towns like this and everything. And like growing up too, my family was a family that like there was. On my dad's side, there was 3 or 4 different teachers who were all different parts within the school district and different levels within it. So I could remember hearing the stories similar to this of like them sitting around and talking about like, oh, well, we had to go to this house and do that kind of thing and everything. So like a lot of this story tied into a lot of what it hit very close to home for me. And that I thought was really, really good. And like, I'd be fascinated to see more horror stories in this setting. I think it's really rich and really unexplored so far. But the rest of it just didn't play out for me that way in the end. But go ahead, continue. I'll shut up now.
No, it's all good, man. But yeah, I think that's kind of what's a saving grace for me is I just really like how it starts off, man. The tension is really high. I think the acting's good, the score's pretty good, and just kind of the scenery and imagery everything's really dreary, gloomy and stuff. So I mean, I think that kind of played a role, and it was very interesting to kind of see the trauma when you finally, back in the second act, we finally get the flashback to the trauma of the child of like what's going on when the dad first got sick.
Sure.
Right, where he's like, okay, like obviously he's portrayed to be a shitty dad, right? He's a drug addict and all types of things. So we understand that. But then to that point where he first gets the illness, or infection, disease, I don't know what term you want to use, right? Where he's like, okay, like I'm gonna build this door and lock it. He's like, and no matter what happens, like don't open this shit.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So you see that, and then you see like the kid like kind of battling, like I don't know, his little brother's in there, like, oh, I'm really hungry. Can you feed me? And the kid's kind of battling that, and he just puts on headphones because he's kind of aware of what's going on. So I think it got a lot of tension that way, and I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I think that's kind of what pushes it to a recommend for me.
Okay.
But I think the payoff at the end ultimately, obviously, is not as high as for say The Ritual.
Well, I also felt like it was like by the end of it, I just kind of felt like, well, there's only like 3 people this guy's going to kill because there's only like 3 characters that we know in the movie, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
yeah, I agree. Small town, super small town.
Yeah,
the big small town.
Yeah, right.
That exposition dump was rough too. The exposition dump was rough too. Where it's just like the former sheriff was like, "Yeah, it's a Wendigo."
Yeah.
I don't really know why you guys should be dealing with this. I'm flat out going to say you're not Native American, so that's weird. But yeah, here's the story and everything that goes along with it.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a better way to kind of reveal your monster, and he's like super nonchalant about it, and like he's the old sheriff, so he's just like, man, fuck it, it's your problem now.
I kind of loved that. No, I was kind of in on that though. He was just kind of like, yeah, this seems real shitty. Well, anyways, okay, so
and then like he blatantly says that like you can crush it, but like it transfers. It looks for its next host essentially, and it's just it's like, oh well, you can do whatever you want, but it's just gonna keep going around.
Get out of here, white man.
Nathaniel, what were you gonna say during the non-spoilers? You were dying to get first dibs here.
To just go watch The Ritual.
Oh, is that all right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I'd even co-sign that.
There's one other thing. I guess Jesse Plemons is great in this. Carrie Russell's really good with this. I think it's cast really well. They've gone for that like, just they look like really good-looking normal people. So like they're not like Hollywood level hot. They're like, oh yeah, that person could work down at my local, like, they could be a teacher and be that. They look like a normal
human. Who has an alcohol problem?
Yeah, weird too. Like there was a lot of there's a lot of bits in this movie where like me as a literature brain person pick up and go, oh, those feel like holdovers from when this was a short story. Little details that get left in there that like play as you read it because they build a fleshed out, more intricate world for you. Right. But on the visual side of things, just kind of lead to leftover ideas like her alcoholism that doesn't really ever get addressed again. Or I spent a lot of the movie trying to figure out what the relationship was between the two of them as well too. Like I wasn't for sure that they were brother and sister until about 45 minutes into the movie. When I think they straight up addressed it.
They're first in like the dining room and kitchen together. I think he addresses her as sis.
Oh, okay. Well, I might have missed that then, because then he was like, "Well, then you left," and then she's like, "Well, I had to get out of this house," and he's like, "Well, I just kept waiting for you to come back." I was like, that plays really weird.
That could be like a divorce or something.
Yeah. So that was I didn't quite catch on to that. So that makes more sense. I'm glad you said that, Adam.
Yes. Yeah. I'm almost positive at some point
I'm pretty sure it was too, because I picked up pretty early on that they were siblings.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I get why like she had an alcohol problem, but I could have figured out that she probably had that issue without you having to allude that it's because of the fact that she was abused.
Right.
So there's just better ways to reveal certain things in this movie, but overall, I like the creature for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like.
Design is dope.
Yeah, I like how it lives in you, and then like they said, they're like it's burnt, and then so it kind of and then it burns through you once it's get fed enough or powerful enough, and then you're a husk, which I thought was pretty cool and made me think of like something evolving like inside you, which is pretty dope. And then I like the tension that they built with the kid. I think he did a phenomenal job. And just kind of his emotion and what you would go through, and they did say something I didn't think that you would really see or hear in a movie for quite some time, just because of the way that the world is now. I'm only saying this for the purpose of the movie. I do not endorse this word, but they dropped a faggot when he was talking to the little kid, which I thought was pretty surprising just by today's standards. And I was actually kind of... my ears perked up because I was like, I didn't like, you can't. That's like one of those words, And but I also, it brought me back to like the days when movies were just like raw, and like you could look at a movie and not be placed in that as an offensive way because it might not be a real situation. You know what I mean? Unless something starts with "this was a true story," you don't necessarily have to put yourself in that, and I think that's okay for movies. And you said it earlier in the Last Duel There was a rape scene. Just another one of those things that you don't see very often, and when you do, you're kind of taken back by it. But you also realize that you don't have to put yourself in there, and it's for the film's purpose or the TV show's purpose, and you can kind of alleviate that from that, knowing that that's not, you know, something that's necessarily meant to be offensive. But I think that was pretty crazy, and I was taken back by that. But I get it. Kids get bullied, so
right.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job of that.
Good point.
Making
Adam
feel isolated and alone.
Yeah. There's just I said a little bit more into non-spoilers, so I'll just kind of reiterate it. There's just like nothing that stands out to me about this movie. It just felt very generic, and maybe I did know too much going in, but the fact that I just knew it was about a Wendigo was the fact that all I needed to know is that the movie was about a Wendigo for it to like not to almost like ruin the movie.
The suspense is almost gone at that
exactly
point.
And if like the fact that that's the one thing that you need to not know is an issue. It just from the first act, when you I knew coming into this what this was about, and then from the first act when it sets everything up, I kind of saw everything coming as it played out. Basically, there's nothing really shocked me about where the story went. The movie itself wasn't all that scary. If we're kind of going along horror terms or horror lines and looking into that regard.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Agree. So it fell flat for me in a lot of areas, definitely. That being said, there were things I liked. Like you guys said, the setting's awesome. Definitely want something similar to this in a similar settings. Play with those woods, play with that fog, play with whatever you need. Definitely a great setting there. Visually, I have an issue with how dark this movie is. I don't
like
mind
the lighting.
Yes, as far as the lighting goes. Sorry. I don't mind it when you're using it for a horror purpose or something like that. Like in the beginning when he's when he's walking through the mine shaft and you obviously can't see anything in front of you. Like all that was great, and I was loving it at that time. But then the movie just never. They never turned up that ISO. They never really went back to
Adam, I wonder if that's not
being able to.
If that might not be partially the theater you saw it in, because I didn't really experience that too much.
It could have been
in my setting today.
I really only kind of like looked at it when they were in the cavern or the mine.
Okay,
but the only reason I was okay with it was because you can't see shit down there.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
So I think it was cool. The one when she was walking down and you kind of had the one spotlight that is back there on the back rock wall and she's kind of walking down, but she still has the flashlight.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, they're just doing that to like, so you can kind of see, but like in real, like I was sitting there thinking, I was like, there's no light down there.
Right.
Like, that shouldn't be there. I actually didn't mind it, but yeah, I did catch it a couple times, looking at it and being like,
for sure,
this is a particularly dark scene.
Yeah, because Adam, could you like not see it like when they were like in the house or something like that too? Or
basically. I mean, whenever Lucas was home, it was like I could, I saw what I needed to see, like the highlights, and I did. I don't feel like I missed anything. But it was just like it was detracting from
I wonder if
a little bit of what's going on, like when they're in the house and she's trying to grab the guns that are locked. I could barely tell they were guns until I kind of just put it together. Like initially,
interesting.
So
maybe it was just my theater.
I think it might have been your theater.
Those sons of bitches.
Yeah, Regal really let me down there, but not many other options. So
right,
yeah, fair enough.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
IMAX, feel free to insert your ad here.
Mm-hmm.
We are for sale. We will sell out.
Yes, I will do anything. So maybe that was just a me issue.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Just it's not that this movie was bad. I won't say it's bad, but it just.
No, Adam, I understand what you're saying too.
Okay.
There's a certain amount of it that like I can't help feel slightly disappointed by this guy in some ways.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think that's part of that is my own expectations I set for it, but part of that is just for as high of a concept and mature of themes and level of pedigree of everyone involved, it feels like I needed a little bit more from the story, or a little bit more more substance than what I got out of this guy.
No, I'm certainly with you on that, Nathaniel, and Adam as well, and I think that's why I kind of said, I mean, it's unfortunate this movie is only like an hour and 30 minutes. Right? Sure. This almost has to be like a 2-hour cut of the film.
Sure.
Where you can explore those themes and you get to see the background and all that stuff. And I think just so it's a little bit more grimmier, and as well as you can kind of delay the reveal of the monster. And I think that'll kind of go hand in hand. But obviously it is a story. So they probably kind of had to cut a few things out, as you could imagine. But yeah, I think that's the biggest downfall. Is at the end of the day, it's short, man, and there's too much to expand on, and they just left it at it's almost like they left it an hour 30 because they're like, hey, we want to make a horror movie,
right?
You know, and it's like we're just gonna make it an hour 30, people can get in and out and leave. So it's unfortunate.
The one last thing I want to say, I think Jesse Plemons is my Rebecca Ferguson to Blake's, or sorry, my Rebecca Ferguson to Blake. If you wanted to put it that way, I don't know the best way to phrase that, but I love Jesse Plemons.
He's in Judas and the Black Messiah as well.
Yeah. No, he's got at least one other Entropy list.
He's got a weird sleepy charisma.
Something else too, yeah.
He's
great though.
No, he's awesome.
He is good. I love him.
Yeah.
He's one of those people that's just like, he's kind of a typecast, but not really. You could pretty much play anything, but like that's the best part. You could look at him and he'd be like, you play anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
He's great. Give him more.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're running a little long on time here, so unless you guys have anything else you want to add,
I'm good.
No. I just want to give some praise to the child who played Lucas.
Yeah, I thought he was good.
He did really good for.
Yeah, he was.
I'm
that
not
is
sure of his age, but
Jeremy T. Thomas.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see him in more things
for sure.
Oh, let's hope. All right, that's going to do it for spoilers here. So welcome back, listeners who may have skipped over the spoiler segment of the podcast. We're going to go ahead and rank Antlers up upon the Entropy list.
Up upon.
For those of you who do not know, the Entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of every movie we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list. This is essentially how we rate our movies, whether to do it out of 5 stars, out of 10, whatever it is. We go up and throw all the movies we review on one list and see how they compare to one another. If you'd like to reference the Entropy list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description, where it is linked to my Letterboxd. Entry number 76 here upon the Entropy list.
Man, we're getting up there, man.
I can't wait till we get at 100.
What are we gonna do for 100?
We gotta do like a super classic for 100. Yeah, unless it's
Citizen
like a
Kane.
really good movie that we gotta put on for a new release.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's a double episode. Maybe it's a 24-hour long stream.
Maybe we should take, what's the number?
no sleep.
Lord of the Rings?
Fuck it.
Yeah,
Stream only.
I was thinking about this. This might be an off-pod conversation, but I was thinking about it earlier. Maybe we should like find like a film festival and like go to one of those, and like we can like do like 4 movies. And like do something like that or something.
I'd be down. I've never been to a film festival.
Can we wear suits?
We can wear suits, yeah. But
all right, I'm down.
I'd support that.
We'll do like
just go to everything there as like just a snob.
I think it'd be cool to like, or like Back Row Banter does like South by Southwest or something like that, or like Texas or something.
We'll get Justin to film it. We'll make a movie.
There you go. But anyways, back to on pod
here, boys. Let's see. Anyone have an early idea of where they might want to put this?
No.
Yeah, this was a tough one.
This is a very
Candyman's gonna be the lynch point.
Yeah,
I was just looking at that.
I'll kick it off because I'm probably the highest on this thing.
Okay.
Kick it off.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I think I'll go 61.
I honestly thought I lost you guys.
I was thinking.
That's so funny.
I think I'll go 61.
61.
Wow.
I thought you were gonna be higher.
I thought you were gonna be way higher.
I can't. It's Trick or Treat at 57 is killing me.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're like, ideally, I probably could put it above like A Quiet Place 2 or something.
Do you like Halloween Kills better than this?
Honestly, I really don't know. To be honest, okay. Halloween Kills is such like a
got that nostalgia.
You can be with a group of people and put Halloween Kills on in the background for like a horror night type thing. You know what I mean? And it's cool.
You could, I wouldn't.
What the fuck is this guy doing? So yeah, I think that's what kind of catches me.
If I was doing a Halloween party, I would definitely have Trick or Treat up on the TV though. You could run that thing on a loop. Because at any given moment, you could be watching a different story throughout the film and still capture something out of it.
Right, and you're definitely right, man. And that's why I can't put it above. I can't put it above 57 by default.
All right, so 61
is just like, eh. But then it's like, damn, I think Wonder Woman's better than this. So stuff.
You guys know how I feel.
Yeah, I'll go 61.
But I'm going to absolutely agree with you.
Okay.
Because I would think Venom's probably better than Wonder Woman. So if I had to switch those off, I definitely think Venom is better than this.
Sure.
And
very close.
Better than F9.
I'm going to go
61.
I'm going to slightly disagree with you, Tyler. I'm going to go 60. I think this is better than Venom.
Okay.
Also, I believe that's Venom versus Let There Be Carnage.
Well, I think this is better than Venom as well, but that's not on the list.
Right. Okay.
So we're going to have Venom better than Venom Let This Be Carnage. Yeah.
Venom.
Venom. Oh, Venom.
I will have to probably agree with Ty and Blake here at 61.
Okay.
Part of me enjoyed.
Close.
There are aspects of Let There Be Carnage that I did enjoy a lot. So.
Yeah. That movie fucking sucks.
Yeah, but it's not great.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I think 61 is a good spot for it.
And you put that in front of this one, so just let that sink in.
Yeah, I know, man. It's hard. The thing is I mean, we know the entry list is based off rewatchability for the masses, all types of thing, and Venom is just. Yep. I'd recommend Venom to a lot of people just on some fuck it, you can watch it.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, we have Antlers slotted in at 61, right below Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and above F9. There you have it, folks. Next week's review is Eternals.
Woo!
Long awaited? I don't know. We haven't been waiting that long.
Yeah. I feel like we have, though.
Have we?
I think because this is such an oversaturated marketing ploy at this point.
I agree.
I feel like I've been waiting for this movie for the last 2 years.
I agree.
That's fair enough. I guess, honestly, I mean, we had Black Widow in theaters.
Yeah.
True.
That's the only Marvel movie we've had since
that's not true.
Far From Home.
No.
We had Shang-Chi.
No? Shang-Chi.
We did an episode on the podcast.
That just went right over my head. You're right. So I take that
Which
back.
is the better film, by the way.
Oh, 100%. Shang-Chi.
Shout out Florence Pugh, by the way. Got to say that every time I say Black Widow.
Yeah. So yeah, but join us for Eternals, what is going to be the second longest Marvel movie, right behind, I believe it's Endgame.
Really?
Yes.
Cool.
Let me check the runtime here really quick. I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing. We're about to find out.
I feel like
that already does not sound appealing.
I feel like Marvel
2 hours and 37 minutes.
So Marvel just saw like the Batman versus Superman market. They're like, "Yep, we need them too." Give me a big, slow, dark film to have out there, and I mean dark visually, not dark like thematically.
Right.
Let's see here. Infinity War, 2 hours and 29 minutes. Endgame is
240 something. Gotta be.
Is 3 hours and 1 minute.
Ew.
And then Civil War.
Yeah, but 15 minutes of that is credits.
Okay, I guess. I don't know if IMDb counts that or not, but sure. And then Civil War, what's that at? 2 hours and 27 minutes. So yeah, they're second longest Marvel movie.
Fair enough.
They got a lot to do in this one. They got a lot to
certainly
set up and
it'll be interesting because I'm not too knowledgeable of the Eternals either. So
no one is. I think that's kind of the thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought
Rob
was the oddball out.
Rob Stark and Jon Snow back on screen together. Can't wait. I am very excited.
Yeah.
Waz says that he
Brian
is.
Tyree Henry, big fan of his. Angelina Jolie.
Oh, there's a lot. Yeah,
this will be the first time I've seen her in a film in
Kumail Nanjiani.
Time. Very
lots to be excited for. So join us for our review of that next week. Catch that, I believe, only in theaters this weekend. Yeah, Nathaniel, do we have any 5-star reviews?
No 5 stars reviews, but if you want to give us a 5-star review, I'll read it out here on the podcast. So that's how that works.
Amazing. No emails this week, but if you want to email us with your questions, comments, concerns, grievances, anything of that sort, do so at backrowbanterpod@gmail.com for a decent chance you'll be read out on pod as well. You can also share the podcast, share with a friend, a family member, maybe a local urban legend if you come across one, or just, everyone in your big, small town.
If you're out there camping in the woods and you come across a local meth head, say, hey, maybe check out Back Row Banter.
That's surprisingly common in the mean streets of Columbia, Missouri. So
you never know,
Yeah. All right. You can also follow the show on Twitter at Banter Row, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod, and on YouTube. It's just Back Row Banter. Will next week be the return of the Tuesday morning uploads? We'll have to find out.
We'll see.
It's been about 6 weeks in a row, I think. Going up Tuesday night.
A lot of people
Wednesday
just
morning, so.
thought we switched. We haven't.
No, it probably not officially. Unless we need to have some talks post pod. We're still set for Mondays usually. Regardless. I think that's it. Let's see. Plugs. Blake, where can the people find you at, my man?
Yes, sir. Letterboxd BlakeHolder. I'll be on there and log some stuff. Been faithfully at that the past few months, so definitely happy with that. Don't have any thoughts for Antlers, so can't really tell you the next time I'll have some thoughts on something. Potentially maybe Spider-Man, Matrix, whatever. We'll see. We'll be on there, and that's about it for me. I'll pass it over to Adam today.
Hey, you can find me on Twitter at H24 and on Letterboxd at H Tyler.
Whoa, what? That was it?
Yeah, I don't do the Twitch anymore.
God, that felt so fast.
What, my plugs? Or
yeah, it was like wham, Tyler. I was like,
I only got 2 things to plug, I guess. But, I don't have much else going on.
I do Twitch still, and it's actually been kind of ramping up. So I've been trying to just get on the regular days. Like if I'm on, I'm forcing myself to just turn my computer on because like what's the difference? So twitch.tv/eltrabajo87 and then Instagram, Letterboxd, and Twitter are all Tyler Vidalis, Vidales. Nathaniel.
Twitter and Letterboxd at NS Gingrich, on Instagram at Nathaniel G92. Adam, get us out of here.
I think that's been it here, listeners, for episode 77, Antlers. Join us next week for a review of Eternals. Thank you all for listening, especially if you've made it this far. I really appreciate it. And I know that the rest of the squadron does as well. So if this is your first episode or your 77th, thank you guys. We'll catch you next week, and we'll be RB.
Be excellent to each other, and we'll be RB.
Thanks for stopping by. And please like, comment, subscribe. Anything you can do to help us grow, we appreciate it greatly. And just be good to one another. Spread that. And we'll be RB.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We always appreciate that. And as I always say, continue to do something you love every day. And you're living the correct way. So that's all we got. Peace, love, positivity. And we'll be RB.
America, ready for another lesson.
Speaking of internet videos, what are you guys' favorite internet videos of all time? Anybody got any funny, forever funny internet videos?
We just
anytime you see it, you laugh.
We just did one yesterday. It was the Greg Jennings NFL run. Put the team on my back.
Oh, Darren Sharper.
Yeah, Darren Sharper.
Yeah.
One of the hottest hitting safeties in the league.
Who's the guy that did the waffle fries thing?
Oh, on YouTube?
Yeah, that was also really
funny. Unforgivable? Unforgettable?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like middle school for me. Yeah, that's crazy.
That was classic too.
Yeah. Adam, do you have a favorite internet video of all time? Memes. Are videos memes? No, right? Memes
they
a photo.
Can be.
Some are.
Okay.
One that comes to mind, I don't know if this would be my favorite because I don't obviously have like a list of all the popular ones, but I always loved the actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf video.
Okay, yeah.
Which I think we've already played.
Yeah, I think we've watched
before.
that one.
Yeah, it got copyrighted.
Oh, is that the one that got caught? That would make sense. Yeah.
There's two or three. I think one of them.
One was the Vin Diesel one, I think, too, wasn't it?
At least, yeah, one of those was the Vin Diesel one. That was the other one.
Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
That's probably the one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
How about you?
That's always fun in hearing people's. I don't know, man.
Charlie the Unicorn was a big one. I remember that one too.
Yeah.
One that's always funny to me as well when they actually watch it every Halloween because I just watched it. But like they're interviewing that one kid with like the skeleton face paint.
I like turtles.
And they're like trying to ask him a serious question. He's just like, I like turtles.
I like turtles.
Yeah. I think that one's up there. And there's another one which I don't know if you guys have seen, but you may have. It's like these two black ladies are like outside like a club and there's a shooting. And they're like, well, if you can't go to Bella Noche's on a Saturday, where the hell can you go? It's just so funny because it's like a serious interview. And that shit makes me laugh every time, dude.
Charles de Souza, for eating a meal, a succulent Chinese meal. That's one of my all-time faves. This is Democracy Manifest.